job they did this morning with the
I told you this is a good audience.
I know it. They're a smart, good audience. Welcome to Coffee at the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure, our honor to do this event every second Friday of the month. It's free. It's open to the public. It starts at 8:30 a.m. We do it at City Hall and Council Chambers, and we'd love for you to join us to come on down. I start, as I always do, with my co-host, the one, the only, Honorable Gregory Oravec, Mayor of this beautiful city of Port St. Lucie.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you. They have us on the monitors today, which I have to say is throwing me off just a tiny, tiny bit. First of all, our mouths don't sync up to what you see, so that's really fun too.
Well, you shouldn't stare at yourself.
I don't like staring at myself, but I feel like I'm everywhere, and I don't enjoy it.
There's a story about narcissists.
Yes, I hate it.
Break. We'll look at that together.
No, I hate it very, very much. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for being with us. As always, we have, looks like you have a lot of notes in there today.
No, it's going to be all about the audience today for me.
Perfect. I know some people have already approached me and said they have some questions, and I love that. I love it when they have questions.
We had a public relations professional just like, bam, get me right before the meeting.
That was the same guy that told me you had a question. It might just be the one question then, but we'll still get to it, and I'm excited about it. It's nice when they participate. That's the whole point of doing it with an audience, right?
We love participation.
Yeah.
And you have a very special guest.
I do. I have a very special, two special guests. We always have our sponsor guest, which is Florida Community Healthcare, and they are going to tell us a little bit more about one of their other centers. They have a Fort Pierce center. They have several centers, and so we like to learn more about them every single month. And we always have our Community Service Impact Award.
Oh, was that Sean Boyle guy?
That Sean Boyle guy, the other tallest guy.
He's taller, and he beat me in horse.
Oh, he did?
He did. I'm better about it. That's my problem.
He takes his basketball very seriously.
He does. He puts way more work into it than I do.
He's very serious.
He very rarely works Saturdays. I think he's working on his shot.
Well, as long as it's on Saturday. We all get one day a week to be normal civilian people, right?
Do we?
No. Not if I want to go out of my house. But anyway, thank you to all of you for joining us as well. We appreciate it. And we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to our sponsor today. And then we'll get right into the show. We'll visit with Sean and get right into the show.
Let's do it.
All right. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. Don't forget, you too could be in this really fun-filled, fun-packed studio audience. It's 8:30 the second Friday of the month right here at City Hall in Council Chambers. We even throw in coffee and Danish courtesy of Culinary Village right here, a caterer right here in Port St. Lucie. Please welcome our sponsor, as we always have every month. We need it. It's necessary for us to be able to do the show. And her name is Charlotte Hayes, and she is a Administrative Director at the Fort Pierce Center for Florida Community Health Centers. Welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's nice.
Make me feel like a star.
I know. It's nice, isn't it, when the mayor serves as your hype man, isn't it? Tell us just a recap. We've had Florida Community Health Centers on several times this year because they've been a great partner for this program. And so we're familiar with what they do to quite a bit. It's the great place for Medicaid, Medicare, and for low income, uninsured, underinsured.
Yes.
You guys have a sliding scale so that you can accommodate all patients, all people. You have pediatrics, you have OBGYN.
You've taken it all.
I've done the show a couple times, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and you have a lot of centers, and I don't know where all the centers are, and you're in Fort Pierce, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in Fort Pierce. And at the Fort Pierce location, we kind of say that we're a one-stop shop because we now have an on-site pharmacy. So you could come in and see the clinician. You could get your prescription right there while you're there. We also have x-ray on site. We have laboratory services and a large array of other things. So we have adult primary care, pediatric primary care, and we have dentist. So we have a dental department on site as well.
Dentist. And have you always had the dentist, or is that a fairly new program? You have?
No, we have always had the dentist.
And all of it is sort of a sliding scale, or you can use your insurance, right?
Yes, ma'am. We accept most major insurances, and then if you don't have insurance, then we'd like to be able to take care of you because we believe everybody should get medical care, primary medical care.
That's so great, because we need that. And where you're at, so where are you located in Fort Pierce?
1505 Delaware. It's not very healthy, but we're right across the street from the McDonald's.
Yeah, I know. But it's a landmark everybody knows, so they're going to be able to find you.
We're right across the street.
from McDonald's.
Yes.
And so it's in the perfect place to access people that may need your services, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is. I'd love to tell you about a story. We recently, a few months ago, we had a homeless gentleman who our staff noticed. We also have the bus stop, so it's right out front of the center as well, which makes it very accessible for patients to come in and out. And we noticed him out on the front. He was walking with a cane, but he had like a shirt wrapped around his leg, you know, the big portion of his leg. And so one of the staff talked to him, asked him to come in, and we were able to take care of him. Well, he had a very big wound, and he was diabetic, uncontrolled diabetes. So for a series of time, he would come in and we would do wound debridement on him, and then the staff would take and pack him a lunch or a backpack with food to make sure that he was able to eat as well. So he became our frequent flyer, but we say that he just became part of the family.
And it's so nice that your staff goes out and actually brings them in, knowing there's not going to little compensation. But that's sort of your mission at Florida Community Health Centers.
It is. We want to take care of everybody, regardless of their ability to pay or where they're at in their walk in life. And we meet them right where they are, and then we boost them up to get them where they need to be.
And you mentioned that you're right on the bus line. There's a bus stop right out front. That has to be so helpful. Do you know what buses stop by there so that people, because I know we have community transit.
It is community transit.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, through Council on Aging.
Yes.
And they have some stops, and that's a perfect stop right in between the McDonald's and the Florida.
Yeah.
Well, and how long have you been up at Fort Pierce?
I've been there 6 years. I've been blessed to be with Florida Community Health Center for 6 years.
Great.
Yes.
And we want to remind everybody that whether you're uninsured or
whether you have
full insurance with a lovely little copay,
yes,
come in because you're going to help offset the costs.
Yes,
for
we
all
will.
Those other people.
Yes, we offer the services like you said on a sliding fee scale. So we find out what their income is, and then we'll put them on the sliding fee scale.
Yeah, and all those people that do have great insurance, they help you out with that. And you have some beautiful centers. Tell us where all the centers are in our community.
Now you're going to challenge me. In our community? Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, just our community. You don't have to do that.
In Fort Pierce, there's the location that I'm at. Then we also have Grace Women's Health, where we take care of OBGYN care. And then we have 2 locations in Port St. Lucie. We have our pediatric department, and then we also have our St. Lucie Women and Children. And so they take care, we also have adult primary care there as well as OBGYN care. Then we have Darwin Square, which is down near the Traditions area. And then if we go a little further, we have Stewart, our Stewart location.
Very good.
Yes.
And give us the website before we go so that if they're interested or they want to find out more about it, they know how to contact you.
It's fchcinc.org.
Oh, very few letters. I like it.
Yes. Florida Community Health Center.
INC, yes.
Inc.org. Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you for being with us, Charlotte. We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate everything that you do here in the community.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Let's hang out with you for a minute. Welcome back to Coffee at the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm here, of course, with my co-host, the mayor of this beautiful city of Port St. Lucie, Mr. Gregory Oravec.
Hi there.
Hi. And we brought up too tall over here in the form of Mr. Sean Boyle, Executive Director of the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. Oh, yes, please. And you brought us a special guest as well. Of course, we're doing our Community Impact Award winner for the month. We do it every month right here at Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. So take it away, Sean.
Sure. One of our priorities is keeping kids in school. And when we talk about school, we don't talk about just kindergarten through 12th grade. We talk about early learning and early education, something that the Chamber has been very supportive of with our latest forum. So we brought with us, we have a great partnership between the Board of County Commission, the Children's Services Council, and the St. Lucie County Health Department to provide school nurses. But we brought the
like Florida Department of Health, St. Lucie County. Like, is Clint going to call me on my cell phone right now and go, Clint's the head of it.
Oh, Department of Health. We're not allowed to say Department of Health.
But you know, Clint didn't show up for this, so it doesn't matter.
That's true.
Yep.
So we brought with us to present our Community Impact Award to that individual that's going above and beyond every single day, the school nurse that works with 62 child care centers to help with immunizations and screenings of vision and weight, as well as implementing the school nutrition 5210. And you can ask her what 5210 is.
Boy, that's a lot of work for a school nurse. I thought it was Band-Aids and kissing boo-boos.
No, not
Okay.
But our award goes to Joanne Fenty from the St. Lucie County
No, it's the Florida Department of Health, St. Lucie County.
That's right.
But more importantly, to Joanne Fenty, the school nurse.
We got to it. We got to it.
Congratulations.
No, I kid. I realize that the school nurse really is kind of the first line of so much. Sometimes I feel like you're actually charged with quite a bit, assessing kids and making sure, even just beyond boo-boos and cuts and things and runny noses, that their welfare is.
Hey, good morning, Clint Sperber. How are you, buddy? We're doing well. We're on TV right now. May I borrow this microphone? Hey, I just wanted to know, what is the proper name of your agency?
Pause.
Technically.
Florida Department of Health in St. Lucie County.
Oh, the Florida Department of Health of St. Lucie County. Okay, I just wanted Sean Boyle to know that, and of course.
Let him know we're giving one of his employees.
Of course. We missed you today, and there's a live studio audience just eating this up. They really love this kind of stuff. They're very playful, this group. We are recognizing one of your employees, and of course we're going to extend your appreciation and congratulations. Do you know her? She's like Punky Brewster. She reminds me of back in my day.
That was my favorite show.
Get out of here! You're too young to know who Punky Brewster is.
I think so.
So.
You should FaceTime with Clint so we can actually get him on the show.
Oh yeah, then he's on speaker too. So.
Yeah, so next time we'll FaceTime you. Maybe we'll put you up on one of our big screens and we'll have Clint Sperber segment. All right, does that sound good?
Maybe I'll just get it live.
All right, well, we appreciate you, buddy. Keep doing what you do.
Thanks. I talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Clint Sperber, everybody, your boss.
Yes. So we have the official ruling. It's Florida.
What did they do before cell phones and Google? I wouldn't have been able to survive.
How do you rouse people out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning before Google and cell phones? Tell us a little bit more. What school are you at? Is it on?
62
Yes, sir.
child care centers.
I go to 62 child care centers in St. Lucie.
62 child-
Yes, yes.
Okay.
62. So I'm
So
there.
can you
at
name
least-
all 62?
Don't make her do that.
So I'm there at least one time every year to do my health screenings and to promote the 5210 program. And then coming up shortly, I'll start vaccinating our children that needs vaccinations to help boost our kindergarten rates.
Okay. And what's the 5210 program?
So the 5210 program is a program that we educate our community on choosing healthy habits, healthy lifestyle habits. The 5 stands for eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. The 2 stands for
Do potatoes count? Or no, that's not really.
not
I got to go
French
leafy
fries.
green? No, not French fries. I wouldn't even do that.
The 2 stands for 2 hours, watching 2 hours of recreational screen time. That's TV, video games, only 2 hours for our children.
That's a max.
The tablets.
That's a max, 2 hours.
2 hours max, yeah.
Sean, he plays a lot of Call of Duty. I don't know if you know that. Also Fortnite. I see him playing
I don't know what
Fortnite.
that is.
2 hours, Sean, 2 hours.
I grew up on one button and one joystick.
Yes.
I don't know how to do all that other
I'm
stuff.
with you.
Too
Atari,
complicated.
asteroids.
And the 1 stands for 1 hour of physical activity every day. The 0 stands for 0 sugary drinks, and we want to push more water.
Could I clarify that 1 hour every day of physical exercise? Could that be basketball?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
I was going to say, you have that down, buddy.
You challenge? Is a challenge?
He look, I mean, he's slim.
standing challenge.
He's getting his work in. He's a good boy.
Yeah, so we want to promote those healthy lifestyle habits to our children so that way as they grow older, they choose those healthy habits in their adulthood.
And we also brought Joanne this time of the year because it's flu season
Oh, yeah, it is.
and the importance of getting your
Vaccines, get your flu shots, guys.
And
Yeah,
you're doing
it's a
that?
good thing that they came to this show, because at the next show we're actually going to inject everyone with the flu vaccine. It's not going to be as much fun.
I don't do well with the flu shot, and they tell me I don't get the flu, but I feel like I have the flu, so I postpone it.
Yeah, get it.
It's not mental.
I had an itch.
You liar. Ask the nurse. It's not mental. You can have a reaction to it, right? But it's not the flu, so
No, it's not the flu.
But it's flu-like symptoms.
No.
Mythbusters right here. I love it. I love it. What other incorrect old wives' tales?
This is my favorite guest right here, ever.
So after you get that flu shot, you in 2 weeks you become fully protected.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're telling me it is mental, that I get sick? Oh, man.
We've suspected it for years. So thank
You probably picked up something before you
Goes
got
beyond just the flu shot.
Okay,
If
all
I
right.
could, I'd like to ask you, what's your favorite thing about your job? So how long have you been in this job, this specific position?
I've been working in school readiness for about 2 years, but prior to that, I've been a pediatric nurse at the Gifford Health Center for about 4 years, and prior to that, I was a school nurse in New York for about 4 years.
Awesome. So not only are you award-winning in your job, you're doing a great job here.
Thank you.
And so what I'd like to ask you, though, what's your favorite thing about what you do? The one thing.
Interacting with the children, they're the reason why I do what I do. I love working with children, and they warm my heart every day when I, see their smiles. And it's needed in the community, someone caring and, just to interact with that child. I could be that one person, that makes them smile for that day and just gives them that one-on-one that they need in the child care centers. So I love what I do.
So as you probably know, we're a Kids at Hope community, and we believe that all kids are capable of success, no exceptions. And as part of that belief system, we also believe it only takes one caring adult to make a difference.
It really does.
So
And I might be that one person.
You might be. I can feel that from you. And so the other question I'd ask you before we go is, what's the one thing you would change about what you do? If you could have the power, you were, I wouldn't say mayor for the day, that's not enough. Maybe if you were Sean Boyle for the day, what would you change?
I don't know.
You don't know? Come back to me, because that's where we could go to work on something constructive and
Okay.
make the world a better place.
Sure. Maybe more resources or anything like that.
Sure.
More school nurses.
That's definitely.
Hey, don't feed her. Don't.
Well, one of her fellow school nurses is out in the audience, and she's mouthing the word "more school nurses." So I just thought,
You see how they try to lobby you when you have influence? They try to lobby you. You gotta just bring in we want facts and logic driving that decision making.
Yeah,
But thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Congratulations so much. Hang out with us for a minute. We're going to take some pictures, but we'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson. I'm here,
And I'm Greg Orbeck, the
There you
mayor.
go. Yes. Like I needed to say that. They
I just
all
like to
know.
be able to say it at least once.
I know. So we
Remind
can do it like
myself.
back to back. I'm
Yeah.
Teresa.
Going 80s old
Yeah, we're
school.
going 80s, and he's great.
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We should do that. Take this thing on the road. Anyway.
Run DMC, get some chains, get some hats, get our Adidas kicks going.
All right.
All right.
I like
So,
it. We are going to dive into whatever you want to talk about, or dive into.
I was listening to Shaq West this week. You ever listen to?
Shaq West.
Yeah. You ever? Not
No.
West. No. Can't play any of that in here.
Is a rapper? You know, just a side note, because this is riveting information, but I heard that Riff Raff lives here now too. So we have Vanilla Ice and Riff Raff. If you don't know who that is, and I'm looking at the studio audience thinking probably none of them do, look him up, because he's an interesting character. But he's a rapper.
Yeah. Well, I think they know Vanilla Ice
Well, who doesn't know Vanilla Ice? But yes. Anyway.
because he's to the extreme and rocks a mic like a vandal.
Yeah. It's hard to handle. That might be the.
That's not the next line, but I like that you
Okay.
rhymed. That's good.
All right, we're going to dive into it. We digress. Do you want to ask?
Ladies
questions?
first, tell them what's important in the world of the chamber.
The world of the chamber, we've got a lot going on. I want to talk about our Christmas in the city.
That was awesome.
I felt like that was a rebuttal to that
No,
statement of we got a lot going on. It was like, no, you don't. We have what? Oh,
That's
that
right.
was the cutest thing.
Really,
I've ever
that just
heard.
really reflects where her state of mind is, not yours, sweetie.
Yeah, she said.
She was actually cheering for you.
Oh, that
she
was so
like,
adorable.
yeah, yo.
I don't think anybody at home can hear how adorable that was, but the little things just shouted out, sorry. Anyway, in Christmas time, Christmas in the City is our event that we do every year. It's kind of the holiday party that we throw for really our community. Our ambassadors of the Chamber put that on, and we do it with the help, the aid, and the location of Dyer Chevrolet. And so I want to make sure that everybody checks our calendar for that because it's a great thing. And we're kicking off, we're gearing up for Young Floridian, which...
The ambassadors really work hard. They're at a lot of events, and I just like to...
Yeah, look at them all. Yes.
And after being serious, I'd then like to say, and they really sacrifice by eating and drinking so many days a week. Yeah.
They do. The Chamber likes to provide food, so at all of our events we have something for you.
I hope you heard that 5 part of the 5210. Five.
Very early.
Fruits and vegetables.
Do we have fruits and
I
vegetables?
know, that's what I'm
Just so
saying.
you know.
Yeah, grapes that have been fermented don't count. Just saying. Yeah.
That's true, but it started as a grape. It's got to count for something.
It still does have flavonoids and antioxidants.
Yeah, very.
What else? What else you got? I'm in a playful mood.
I see that, but that's good. Nobody minds that. And Young Floridian, I want to talk about Young Floridian for a moment. Young Floridian is a scholarship program that's been going on in our community since 1985. It was started by St. Lucie Medical, Indian River Community College at the time, which is now a state college, and GDC's, the ever popular GDC. But it's a great program nonetheless, and we are celebrating, 33 years of Young Floridian. And we send 14 students to IRC. They get a free ride to IRC with a book stipend.
An award-winning state college, one of the best in the country.
Absolutely. Best value, one
Top
of the best.
5 2 years in a row.
Yep. And they get 2 years there with a book stipend. We kick in $1,000, and that $1,000 can actually transfer to any college that they go to, whether they finish up. A lot of them have dual enrolled and finish their associate's degree at Indian River State College before they graduate, but we still throw in $1,000 to take with them anywhere they want to go. And so we are kicking that off. We start work with the coordinators at the schools. We have several events tied to it, but we're always looking for sponsors as the years go on and more people start scholarship programs. Young Floridian, we've been there, done that, so it starts taking a back seat, but I need people to understand that this is a great program and very few have this 2 full year ride. So we're looking for sponsors in that. So that's my serious note plug for the Chamber. But we always have a lot going on. We do this event with you. We do 3 other talk shows with other community partners, and we feed you at every single stinking one of them. So hopefully you'll check out our calendar, stluciechamber.org, and look at the Chamber's calendar for a full list of our events. But thank you for that opportunity, because we don't get to talk about our events that much. We don't get to talk about our advocacy, which as you know, because you're in government, it is very much a part of what I do every day, and I don't always get to share that with the general public. They might see me at this, or they might see me at breakfast, but they don't see the hundreds of meetings I take a year to talk about how business is conducted in this community and how business can prosper in this community. And that a lot of that is behind the scenes and regulatory. So.
Yeah, and I described you as a tigress this week.
You did.
I watched you fiercely advocate for your constituency, not once, but twice.
Twice you did?
Sure, at the Tourism Development Council. So Teresa really is a point of the business community, right? Obviously, if you're in the Chamber, you know that, but if you're just a resident coming in, so as the administrative head, the executive head of the Chamber, I saw you at the Tourism Development Council this week. You meet with a council member every month at the city, at probably all the local governments, but with the city of Port St. Lucie this Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was my turn. So I got to see you there. And then I think you've also been serving on our selection committee. We're trying to use some of the land and tradition for a career technical school. So back in the day, they called that VOTEC. Now we're not allowed to say that. We have to call it career technical.
Yeah, I think
and our school district, remember, they're independently elected. They're a separate governmental entity. And they do a lot with career training, career technical, but it's spread out across all of the districts, many campuses. There's not one place where if you are into working with your hands, or you don't want to go to university, you want to follow a career track, there's not one place that brings like-minded people together to create the magic. And an example I always like to use, because I'm getting old, is that when I was growing up, I became familiar with like the FAME school. And have you ever heard of FAME? you know, I want to live forever. But they brought all the arts together in one school and created a very special place. It's not like they just brought dance there, and then there was a separate school for this and that. They brought all those arts together. They brought like-minded people together and became exemplary. Well, we'd like to do that with career technical training right there in our jobs corridor, where we have major manufacturers like City Electric getting ready to build 400,000 square feet. So thank you for being on that selection committee.
No, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. As a business advocate, I want to be a part of as much of any conversation that will affect business in our community as I can. So I appreciate the opportunity very much.
Had a busy week in the news. And Sean said we had a Mythbusters segment. I don't want to call it Mythbusters.
I knew what you were saying.
If I could even say it. See, I knew deep down I shouldn't do that. But did anyone have any questions about a headline this week and was wondering what the real deal was? No?
Or even questions, maybe?
Okay.
No.
Now we'll just go straight questions. So take anything.
What was the headline? Yeah,
Well, I know. I feel like he led you and then didn't tell you enough about what it was. So we might as well just address it head on because they're all curious.
Well, when I go to the area council meeting with the chamber and a group of local business owners, oftentimes they hit me with like, hey, I read this in the paper. I didn't understand this, or is this true? And then we get into the meat of it. And let me say that probably one of the biggest things that happened since we saw you last. And first, let me say we appreciate our sponsor, and we're glad that we have healthcare options in the community. But one of the biggest things that happened for the city, most likely, is Cleveland Clinic's merger with Martin Health Systems, subject to regulatory approval. So when you think about one of the premier brands in healthcare and several specialties being in the backyard of tradition, that's something that's very positive for the city of Port St. Lucie, because healthcare is so important to our quality of life. That's a foundational element of quality of life. Another thing is safety, right? And so we have a new resident joined us from Colorado. He's here, and we're glad to have him on the east side. He's got family here. And one of the things that the city of Port St. Lucie is known for is being a safe place. We're actually the safest large city in Florida. We are recognized by a national, one of these national websites this last week as being the 4th safest community in the country. So if we parlay, let me go back a step further. One of the things that's great about PSL is we provide Florida lifestyle at unbeatable value. I mean, we really, I don't think you can get the Florida lifestyle for a better price point than you do in Port St. Lucie. If you don't like Florida, you're in the wrong place. I'll help you go. It's okay. But if you love Florida like we do, then there's really, you couldn't get more for your hard-earned dollar than Port St. Lucie. So we have that. We have safety. We have health options, quality health options. Now we have a nonprofit like Cleveland Clinic looking like they're going to move in. We have a state-of-the-art water and wastewater utility. And we're working on our infrastructure. We have about a $310 million capital improvement program where we invest in infrastructure. That's already set. We're trying to do this additional investment. Crosstown Bridge is opening. So our foundational elements are very strong. It's a very exciting time for Port St. Lucie.
It is. And I'm excited about Cleveland Clinic as well. And we also have many members of the HCA family here, which is also a large network of resources. And I can't think of anything more positive than having both of them in our community to make sure that every possible resource is covered. Lawnwood is great at trauma and heart, and St. Lucie Medical is great at orthopedic. And Cleveland Clinic brings a whole other host of specialties in here. And so the idea is fantastic. You're going to have access to more resources than ever, and you're going to have options.
Well, and honestly, I'm a big fan of competition.
Yeah.
But you want it to be constructive competition. Competing pushes us further than we would go on our own, provided that it's not negative and no cheap shots, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you keep it a friendly rivalry, a sibling rivalry, that really pushes you to greater heights. And certainly in our United States of America, we believe the competition's healthy.
Sure.
So to have one of the largest for-profit entities in HCA, and then to have one of the best nonprofit entities in Cleveland Clinic, like you said, you couldn't ask for something better.
No. Let's open it up to questions. I know we're getting close in on time, so I'm sure we have a few in the audience. Anybody want to volunteer?
Alex Monsignor. So we love Port St. Lucie. One of the things that we find problematic at times is getting to the airports and getting down to Miami or up to Orlando. Is there anything we can do to help bring the Brightline?
So that's one of the headlines. See, we're backing into the end of the segment.
They did read the paper.
They did. So on Brightline, a lot of people on the Treasure Coast, Martin County and Indian River County especially, upset about all aboard Florida. It's taking the FEC rail line, which is already established. And we've had, many people say, hey, Greg, you're the 8th most populous city in the state. Why isn't Port St. Lucie, if we're going to have to deal with these impacts, why isn't Port St. Lucie working with Brightline? And the reality is the FEC tracks, the Brightline tracks, are on the edge. They're actually outside of the city. We only have one crossing in the city proper, and that's on Walton Road. And if you know Walton Road, you know that the crossing is actually right before you get to Indian River Drive. And the line there rides the Atlantic Ridge. That's all that nice sugar sand that got pushed up way back in geological time, right? And so on one side, you fall into the Indian River Lagoon after you go through some nice houses, and on the other, you have the swamps that are the savannas. So that's the city's only access point. That's a county road in a state park next to the Indian River Lagoon. So we have away from our population center. So we really have no opportunity, no direct opportunity to access it. So what we've done is several of us are members in the Transportation Planning Organization, AKA TPO. And as a TPO, we've endorsed Fort Pierce working with Brightline to bring a station to downtown Fort Pierce. And as a city council, this week on Monday night's agenda, we approved a letter of support. Now, just a little inside baseball. I didn't draft that letter. I like to draft my own letters. That one was drafted by staff, and they were a little effusive with their praise, and the paper picked up on that overwhelmingly support. And the only thing that I would change is that we support and hope that you will mitigate potential negative impacts like noise and public safety. So definitely, as a body, we support it, but we want them to work on a couple of negatives, and then we can utilize Brightline to get to, I think, Orlando in 2022 or so, and then I bet Tampa's going to hop on that because the I-4 corridor is blowing up. And it really creates an interesting dynamic for the city, because if you were an executive and you needed to be in the Orlando and Miami markets or anywhere on the line, you could do so. We actually have people that commute to Miami every day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely do. I just want to mention that all aboard Florida is Brightline. It turned into Brightline because I don't think we made that distinction. But yes, we want to definitely be a part of the party. I mean, if they're going to come through here, why can't we have a little bit of the fun? So, yeah. The other lady, she had a question, but she had to leave. But Sam has a question.
My wife actually, she's on the other side of that one. And when that article came out, she beat me up at 11 o'clock on Tuesday night, I think.
And I wanted to solve a mystery that I created by asking the mayor a question. But before I do that, I wanted to thank Teresa. By the way, I'm Sam Yates. I have a marketing and public relations company. I'm constantly working in the background. So when I asked the mayor a question this morning, it created a bigger question mark. Teresa, my thanks to you for allowing me and a group of individuals to address you and the executive board about a very special project that's coming to St. Lucie County, hopefully, and that is the Atlantic. It's an addiction substance abuse treatment center that if any of you would like to help bring it to the area, I'd be glad to talk to you about it afterwards and not waste the time here. But the question I asked this morning was, Mr. Mayor, do you have any feedback recently on Tesoro? And he was like, why? And I could see the question mark going up because he is that kind of person that always digs in and wants to know, never like a mystery out there. I have a friend from South Carolina that has just started construction of a new home in Tesoro, and through the process has told about 5 or 6 other people from South Carolina, this is the place to be, Port St. Lucie and Tesoro. Tesoro means treasure. So my mission on behalf of my friends is to say, what is going on in Tesoro? Because if there's something negative, they would like to address it. If there's something positive that could be even further enhanced for our community, they would like to address that as well.
So if you know Tesoro, has anyone ever been to Tesoro or been by it? Mm-hmm. So it's right off of Becker. And what I'd say, Sam, is it's a great community, but because it's a gated community, I honestly haven't been inside of the pearly gates there for a couple of years, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't either since the golf tournament out there.
Have not received any calls from the HOA. You know, you hear echoes. If you've ever been in there, this goes back to the heyday, you know, just a little history there with the Ginn Company and trying to create an exclusive, really high-end. PSL, just painting in generality, is pretty blue collar. I mean, we're very accessible. We're best value. Tesoro is something else. And it was at a whole nother level. And the clubhouse that they built in there.
It's a palace. It's a lot of marble. It's beautiful.
It's nice. It's very nice. It's exquisite. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it was certainly something I hadn't seen anything in our area for,
There's all
opulence
kinds,
is
there's
to
all
the
kinds
extreme.
of adjectives we could use on. I mean, it's stunning. And so, you know, you hear about the carry because once we hit the bottom, you know, things really quieted in the whole city, Tesoro included, and now I think you're seeing it come back. We appreciate your friends. If you have any ideas, you know, call me.
Yeah,
we'll discuss it.
It's all economic impact for us, so bring it on.
Well, I mean, honestly, when you look at the numbers of running a city, because you know there are many numbers involved. If we keep exempting homesteaded property value out of it, you need a home that's valued at $1 million just to generate any tax dollars. So a community like Tesoro is very important to the health of the community. And quite frankly, Sam, we have so many in the mid and affordable range. If we really want to be the jobs corridor that we want, you know, if we want to create the jobs corridor that we've envisioned, you need the full range of housing. You need executive housing. You know, we have some waterfront in the city. We have many choices for workers, but if you really wanted to get the CEO, you got to give the CEOs and the C-suite people places to live also. And historically, PSL proper has not had that. So really, there's a strategic importance to Tesoro.
The lady that brought her lovely daughters in today had
She's
a question,
back.
and I want to get to it because I know that she's got a lot going on.
Hi, this is going to be a silly question. I'm Nellie Montanez. We moved here 2.5 years ago from West Palm Beach, and my husband still commutes every day over there. And the reason we came here, not only because our family grew, we liked the community, the quiet, and you know, a little bit of everything. But anyways, we're new to adulting and buying a home and all that other great stuff. So it's a dumb question, but is a family like mine going to benefit from the homestead exemption? Because our taxes are like the most expensive on our street. Our first year here in St. Lucie, we paid like $5,500, and it's really like choking us.
What neighborhood are you in?
Woodland Trails, Savona, Becker.
In Woodland Trails. I live in Woodland.
I don't know if that's something that will go down for us, or you know.
I have a great answer for
Sure,
that.
go for it.
The reality.
Glad to have you on.
Have you been able to homestead your property? Yes. You have been able to homestead your property. The reality is that in the short run, perhaps, but in the long run, and especially since I see that you have two beautiful daughters, and those beautiful daughters are going to need the resources that tax money provides over the next, looks like you got about 18 more years of that. And we just put a beautiful park into Woodland Trails, and those sort of things, and libraries, those things will all suffer for what I'm guessing is not a large reduction in your property taxes.
Yes, that is a good one. Because what is it, 25,000?
It's 25,000, yeah.
That's not in taxes, that's in value, and then you calculate the taxes. So you give us a couple of really important opportunities. One, I believe you can go onto the property appraiser site and get help in actually calculating what it means to you in dollars and cents. But what you're going to find is it's not going to be a big dollar amount, and the opportunity you give is for me to remind everybody, when you look at your tax bill, there's only two lines that are the cities ad valorem tax. The one that's called City of Port St. Lucie and City of Port St. Lucie voted debt. City of Port St. Lucie voted debt is Crosstown. That's what pays for Crosstown. The other line, that's what pays for PD and Parks and Rec and Woodland Trails and all of that. So everything else is another governmental authority, another taxing authority. So those are the only two that we control. So we could see what the value of that would be to you.
Maybe we can help you out with getting an idea of what that looks like for you.
No, it's not. It's not silly.
No, it's not a silly discussion.
So the biggest discount you could receive if your home was perfectly valued, you get this additional homestead exemption on all taxes, not just the cities. This is from everybody. Is about $500.
And divide that by 12.
And yeah, so for the city, the max that it would save you is probably in the $100 a year range. So that's what it ends up being. So you got to maybe $100 on it.
And you divide your year-long savings probably by 12, because I'm sure your taxes are rolled up into your loan along with your insurance. So that's about what you're going to save. $5.25.
$8 a month from the city's perspective. And so this is the interesting thing about. Because we've been walking in Port St. Lucie, this is the third year that we reduced the tax rate. And we've only been reducing it by a tenth of a mil. And that means $1 million to the city, but it only means so much to you. So you do have to do incremental decreases to get there, because you can't always do it in one giant bite. But we have to ask ourselves, like, as a community, is it worth, and this is the pitch with the sales tax too, is for $1 a week, do you want to have all those projects get done, or do you want to save the $1 a week? Which one's more meaningful? Which would do more for the community? That is the fundamental question. It's not a silly question. It just doesn't have a right or wrong answer. It depends on what you believe.
I'm going to give away this prize, and
yes.
How would you like to do that?
Who in here plays golf or knows someone who plays golf?
Okay.
All right, you're all eligible. Leave your hands up.
All right.
Whoever drops it last. No, I'm just kidding. Keep them up, because we got to be able to see this action here.
All right.
All right.
Now, of those people with your hands up, no, I can't ask them that. How many of you had a birthday in September? Oh, we're down to fewer. Well, it's October, so you don't win. But no, I forgot it's October. All right.
All right. Well, she put her hand down, so
it's down to these two.
Oh, he put his hand down. I wanted to give it to him. He's our new resident from Colorado. How long have you been here?
A year.
You've been here a year?
5 months.
5 months. Oh, wow.
5 months.
Oh. Sorry, you're out. You're my friend. Forget it.
Sheila's been
all
here
right,
for a long
right
time.
here. Let's see who's the closest. What year was the city incorporated? Oh, no whispering. No whispering. No whispering. Whoever's closest.
I have 55.
You got 55?
What do you want to say?
Just come up with anything.
54.
It's 1961. 55 is closest.
Aw. Sheila had her arm up in the back, but Sheila, I'm going to get you the gift card for Orange Therapy. So there you go.
Oh,
very
yeah,
good.
sorry.
And we'll find something for you too, I promise, up there. We must have something, but we'll find something for you. All right, everybody, we're going to head out because it is getting a little late. I want to thank all of you for being with us, Culinary Village for putting together our coffee and pastries, all the staff here at the City of PSL, and for bringing us a gift basket, and of course, the mayor of the beautiful city of Port St. Lucie. I'm Teresa Aronson. Have a great day, everybody.
You're at City of PSL.